Hey everybody, Rose Matter here. Welcome to part 14 of my Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works Let's Play. The last episode was pretty crazy. So we had like the big showdown between the rematch between Shirou and Tosaka versus Caster and Kuzuki, but also Archer as well. But thankfully we had Lancer on our side. And we ended up actually winning, but that was because when it seemed like we were on the ropes and we were about to lose, Archer actually switched sides and killed Caster and Kuzuki. So we're like, oh sweet. I was like, oh, it was the long con. He secretly like went over to Caster's side and he was gonna help us out. But no, it turns out that he did plan on betraying Caster from the beginning, but he only did that. He was on Caster's side initially so that she would break Rin's contract with him so that he would be able to then kill Shirou. That's been his goal this whole time, is to just kill Shirou. And he ended up kidnapping Rin and taking off with her. And we have agreed to have a final showdown between Shirou and Archer at the Eisenberg Castle. And also, it's all very confusing. So now Saber is Rin's servant, technically. So we've got Saber back. Awesome. So Saber and Shirou are off to go and save Rin, and there's going to be the showdown with Archer. So I assume we're going to be finishing this route pretty soon. And holy cow, just like just crazy last episode. And I'm very excited between this like showdown between Shirou. And also, it's been pretty much confirmed at this point that Emiya, Shirou, and Archer are basically the same person. So that was hinted at a lot. But yeah, anyway, I am like super excited to see what happens next. So let's get back into it and let's see where the story takes us next. The first things I notice after I wake up are the sensations in my limbs. They hurt and I can't move them. I'm sitting on a chair and slept in a bad position. I don't want to admit it, but this is the worst possible situation. I can't do anything. My hands are behind the chair and restrained by something like handcuffs. It goes the same for my legs, and I can't even stand up. The handcuffs and the shackles are magic resistant, and my magic circuit is so messed up I can't even create magical energy. Now that I've checked my situation, I survey my surroundings. It's cold. This room made of stone has no heater, and it is a ruin that hasn't been used in a while. It's dark outside the window. From the looks of it, I think it's around 10 o'clock at night. I glare into the darkness. By the pillar, a knight in red is sitting on a pile of rubble.
どうもこうもない。お前はエミやシロを釣る餌だ。それは自分でも分かっているだろう。
私がいなくたってシロなら勝手に来るわよ。そんなことあなたならわかるでしょうに。
そうだな。だがそこにお前がいては都合が悪い。ことが済むまで目障りな邪魔者にはここでおとなしくしていてもらおう。
Archer says so without appearing in front of me. There's no sign of his previous friendliness. He's a calm cleaner now.
そう。どうあってもシロを殺すっていうのね、あなた。
ああ。あのような甘い男は今のうちに消えた方がいい。
He answers as a matter of course. I can only see the shadowed side of his face from here. His expression is cold and he looks like he has a mask on. That makes me seriously angry.
シロが甘いってことは言われなくてもわかってるけど。
I breathe in. It'll end once I say this. My Archer will never return once I say this. I take a breath and glare at the guy in the shadows. Is she gonna say something like, he's you, or like he's a part of you that you don't like?
それでも私はあいつの甘いところが愛しいって思う。あいつはああでなくちゃいけないって。ああいう奴がいてもいいんだって救われてる。けど、あんたはどうなの？そこまでやっておいて、身勝手な理想論を振りかざすのは間違ってるって思ったわけ。何度も何度も他人のために戦って 何度も何度も裏切られて、何度も何度もつまらない後始末をさせられて、それで人間ってものに愛想が尽きたっていうの？あーちゃん。
I get even more angry as I speak, and I'm screaming it out now. Archer doesn't answer. The face in the shadow is a face I have never seen before.
すべての人間を救うことはできない。
When I heard this from the man I believed could save anyone, I felt resistance.
いいか、シロ。正義の味方に救えるのは味方をした人間だけだ。
I didn't like those words either. I didn't want the superhero himself to say these things. Since that time, Shirou's whole life may have been focused on overturning those words. There's no need for sacrifices. Nobody will get hurt if you work hard and do your best. My father should have yearned for that as well. So...
ああ、安心した。
I cannot look away from his last moment. Tosaka told me such a life is unnatural. I know. I realized that a long time ago. There's no world where nobody gets hurt, nor can one seek happiness without hurting others. Such a utopia does not exist anywhere in this world. Shirou's search for superheroism is just hypocrisy.
人助けの果てには何もない。
So, I know that without being told.
他人も自分も救えない。偽りのような人生だ。
Yeah, even if it may be true, I won't let you say it. I don't care if anyone other than him denies it, but I won't let him say it. We have the same beginnings, and even if I may eventually become like him, no, all the more if that is the case. That is why I have to deny him. As he does not approve of the former Shirou, I will not approve of him as long as I exist. Even if this dream may be a distorted one, if I have believed in it, and if I'm going to believe in it, I wake up. I look at the clock right away and see it's 11 o'clock right now.
目が覚めましたか、シロ。
Sitting Japanese style, Saber greets me in a calm voice. It's been half a day since I came home from the church. She must have watched over me ever since I fainted.
ああ、起きた。体も問題ないよ。疲れも取れたし、頭痛も消えた。
I get up from the futon. My limbs are fine now. The magic circuit I overused is still exhausted, but it hasn't burned up.
行くのですか、シロ。
Saber suddenly asks. The answer is obvious, so I silently nod back.
わかりました。では私も同行します。ですがシロ、リンは私のマスターです。彼女を救い出すのは私の役目だ。
That's so
アー
weird
チャーは私が止めますから。
for her to say
シロ
that Rin is her master.
逆だ、セイバー。アーチャーとは俺がやる。
I interrupt Saber. She looks at me uneasily.
それはダメだ、シロ。アーチャーはあなたの。
She hesitates to finish her sentence.
分かってる。あいつが何者なのかは、多分出会った時から分かってた。
I've opposed him without reason from the first time we met. I stubbornly hated him, thinking I could not approve of him. It's natural. People can only look away when faced with their own mistakes.
けど、だからこそ、あいつがしたことは認めない。あいつとだけは、俺が決着をつけなくちゃいけないんだ。
I stand up. My body feels great. There's only half a day left until the deadline. I can't spend any more time resting.
シロ。
こんなことを言える立場じゃないけど、頼む、セイバー。アーチャーとは俺がやる。その時、どうなっても手を出さないでいてほしい。
I bow as I ask Saber.
いいえ。そのようなことをする必要はありません、シロ。あなたがそう望むのなら、私はそれに従いましょう。この身はあなたの盾になると誓ったのです。その行く末を最後まで見届けます。
Her answer is perfect. Her clear voice sweeps away the uneasiness within me.
ありがとう。セイバーが見守ってくれるんなら心強い。
はい。私もあなたがそうであってくれて嬉しい、シロ。
She smiles back. We're prepared for departure now. We leave my house. Who would have thought I'd go to that castle again?
おい、お前ら、人の話聞いてねえだろ。
は？
We both turn around. Oh, come to think of it, Lancer was still here. Poor forgotten Lancer. Not as forgotten as Assassin, but...
案外暇なんだな、あんた。
It just slips out. He must be self-conscious as he doesn't try to retort. He just wants a
ラン
friend.
サー、あなたが何を企んでいるかは知りませんが、私たちに同行しても得るものはありません。
He's like, I just want more screen time, guys.
アーチャーはすでにマスターを持たないサーバント。あなたのマスターが倒したがるとは思えませんが。
ああ、わかってるわかってる。別にアーチャーの野郎をどうこうしようって気はねえ。坊主と奴の殺し合いにも手は出さねえから安心しろ。
では何のためについてこようというのです。私との決着を望むのなら、ここでつけても構いませんが。
いや、それも願い下げだな。俺は貴様のマスターと敵対する気はない。むしろ売りたいのは恩でね。ここらで貸しを作っておこうと、そういう腹だ。
What is with his weird obsession with Rin? Saber glares at Lancer, and Lancer ignores her.
わかった。好きにしろ。遠坂を助ける手助けをしてくれるなら、こっちも助かる。
シロー、ランサーは敵です。そのような軽い決断は。
その点は大丈夫だろう。そいつ、根性ひん曲がってるけど、嘘を言うやつじゃないし、何より回りくどいことなんてできない。俺、
それはそうですが、しかし。
いや、セイバーが嫌だって言うなら追っ払う。けどこいつ、放っておいてもついてくるぞ。それなら、そばにいさせて監視した方が楽だろ
う。たった数日で随分と口がうまくなったのですね、シロ。
いや、いろいろあったから。ま、そういうことだ、ランサー。俺たちもあんたに関与しないから、あんたも俺たちには口を出さない。それでいいなら一緒に行こう。
I say to the guy that's watching us with a smile.
十分だ。いや、いいコンビじゃねえか。セイバーは見ての通り融通が利かないからな。お前が大人になってくれて助かったぜ。
そのようなことはありません。融通が利かないのはむしろシローの方だ。私がどれほど苦労したか、あなたに何がわかるのです。
さあ、なんだ？聞けば話してくれるのか、セイバー。いいぜ、城までは随分とある。道中お前の苦労話を魚としよ
う。He's just a professional shit disturber.
なぜ
He's really good at getting under their skin, isn't he?
ならないのです。それこそあなたには無関係ではないですか。
Takes a lot to have Saber make a face like that to like lose her composure like that. Saber roars at Lancer. I guess Saber doesn't get along well with Lancer, you think? But I never thought Saber would get angry like Tosaka. It's soon as Tosaka's her master, Saber starts to take on like the same attitude.
それより行くぞ。できるだけ早く城に行かなくちゃいけないんだからな。
I leave the two and start walking.
シロー、私は遊んでいるわけではありません。
She must still be mad as she yells at me. Lancer follows us from a distance. It's midnight right now. I know how far the castle is from here. We should make it in time. We'll probably get there around dawn. We start to walk to the masterless old castle. It is daybreak. The knight in red is leaning against a pillar and staring at his arm. Putting strength into his fingers, he makes a fist. His body is only half responding. Even heroic spirits cannot maintain their existence in this world without their masters. He still exists because of the special class ability of Archer, but he's almost at his limit. His remaining strength is not even a tenth of his original powers. His muscles are weak, and his body will slowly disappear if he loses focus. But there's no problem. Even if he has less than a tenth of his original power, it's enough to kill Emi and Shirou. Considering the difference in their abilities, this isn't even a handicap. Therefore, it will end once they fight. His one and only objective will be accomplished here. That's right. He's waited for this time. He's endured the endless repetition hoping for this chance. He's awaited a miracle that would not occur. A miracle with a probability close to 0. Are we in Umineko right now? And his wish was granted. No, it's about to be granted. He does not care what awaits him afterwards. He will kill his own self with his own hands. The hopeless, futureless wish is what kept him going after he wore out.
長かったのか、それとも刹那に過ぎなかったのか。
He's an existence that disappears after each summoning. His memory does not remain, no matter how many times he repeats the cycle. It only stays in his body as knowledge. Heroic spirits recognize other heroic spirits because of these accumulated facts. It's just like a book. Every time a heroic spirit is summoned, the book with its story is sent to its home. The heroic spirit itself remains in the house, reading those books. The trouble is that the one at the house does not know when these books arrived. Past or future does not matter. All the books are already in his room. His only way of measuring time is to read the records of his cleaning that he will accomplish. It makes no difference if it's eternal or instantaneous. Eternity is instantaneous, and an instant is eternal. Therefore, he does not know how rare this miracle is. He does not know if this is the first time or the 1,000th time since he obtained this hope. All he has is unordered knowledge. Past, present, and future are meaningless for heroic spirits.
来客か。邪魔は入らんというから来てやったのだがな。
The knight in red suddenly gets up. Did his ears hear the sound of the intruder? Footsteps echo through the silent castle.
へえ。
Ah,
驚きだね、遠坂。半信半疑だったけど、本
Shinji.
当にこんなところにいたんだ。
Are we gonna have an archer versus archer fight? A voice echoes. The rude intruder is a boy called Mato Shinji.
おっと、物騒な真似はなしだぜ。
He's going to be like, oh, Rin all tied up just the way I like it.
こっちはお前に用はないんだ。お前だって遠坂に用はないんだろ。ならここで殺し合うことはないんじゃない？
Mato Shinji walks forward with light steps. He's looking at Tosaka, who's tied up. God damn it. The girl glares silently at the intruder. They want her as the vessel, right? That must delight him. He licks his lips in satisfaction and walks to the girl.
あ？
Stared down by the knight, Mato Shinji looks up in annoyance.
何？やるっていうの？本気かよ。お前なんて相手になるわけないじゃんか。
He smiles and turns back to the entrance. There stands a man with golden hair, the 8th servant, Gilgamesh, or Goldie, as Tosaka likes to call him, right? He is literally a disaster. The golden servant looks at the knights with cool eyes, but within them, the red eyes only show the intent to brutally kill the enemy in front of him. The knight in red is still silent. It makes no difference even if Mato Shinji appears or if the strongest servant is ready to attack him. The knight calmly stares at the uninvited enemies.
ブルってるんだろ、あーちゃん。いいんだぜ。別に
He's
恥
gonna
じ
be
ゃ
like,
ない。
shut the fuck up, dude.
あいつはバーサーカーだって難なく始末したサーバントなんだからさ。
リンが欲しいのか、マトシンジ。
え？ああ、当然じゃないか。そうでもなけりゃ、こんな城には近寄らないよ。
そうか。ならばことが済むまで待て。
God damn, I was hoping maybe Archer would have at least
ならばくれてやる。
like a little bit of care for Rin. Like, yeah, they didn't always get along, but at the beginning at least, they seemed to have kind of a playful banter and a respect for each other.
それまで、あれは私のものだ。それが聞けぬとあれば仕方がない。不本意だが、ここで死ぬことになるぞ、ギルガメッシュ。
The knight's eyes remain on the golden servant as he speaks.
愉快だな。どうけ。
Were those words reason enough for the man to kill Archer? The golden servant identifies the knight in front of him as a target he must kill.
待てギルガメッシュ。早まるなよ。ことはスマートに行こう。いいじゃん。くれるってんだからもらっておこう。どうせアーチャーはマスターがいないんだ。何度も裏切ったこいつと契約するマスターなんていないんだしさ。ほっとけば消えるんだろ。遠坂はその後でもらえばいい。
Mato Shinji smiles and stares at the knight in red. It looks as if he's enjoying the fate of the one who's about to disappear.
賢明だな、マトシンジ。その判断は的確だ。君はある意味、誰よりもマスターにふさわしい。
なんだ。あんた見どころあるじゃん。もったいない。それなら僕のところに来てれば契約してやったのに。
Stepping away from the knight, Mato Shinji claps his hands happily.
けど悪いね。もう他のサーバントなんていらないんだ。残念だけどさ。おとなしく消えちゃってよ、あんた。
言われるまでもない。それで結局どうするのだ。ここで私と戦うか。
Like, Archer has to
私が消え
know
去るのを待つのか。
deep down that he stands no chance against Gilgamesh, especially as he is. He's, like you said, he's at like a tenth of his strength.
ああ、待ってやるよ。エミヤを始末するまで、遠坂は僕たちが守ってやろうじゃないか。けど、そうだな。
Jeez,
とな
that
ると
thing is mine
あれは
already.
もう僕のだろ。
Ugh,
なら何を
gross.
しても構わないと思わない？
The thing is, like, what, the vessel, I'm guessing? Or is he literally referring to her as a thing? Is he talking about, like, the Holy Grail is already mine? He stares at the knight in Tosaka Rin with snake-like eyes. His words are to test the loyalty of the knight. To that,
傷をつけるなというのがエミやシローとの契約だが、それは夜明けとともに消える。刻限が来たのなら、あとは好きにするがいい。
no, Rin's been oddly quiet during all this. She usually I would think that she would like speak up if Shinji appeared or all this stuff. They're just talking about her like she's not there. The knight in red replies in an emotionless voice.
聞いたかよ、遠坂。お前のサーバント、マスターを売っ払うってさ。
Sneering laughter echoes in the dirty room. The knight exits as if he's not interested. Archer passes by Gilgamesh. Archer ignores his mocking gaze and walks into the hallway. At that instant,
フェイカ
Faker, the king of heroes, says so as if despising him. It's daybreak. There's less conversation as we make our way through the forest, and the silence gets heavier. I, Emiya Shirou, must fight that man when we get to the castle. There's no chance of victory, and a certain loss awaits. I know I'll just be killed once we start fighting. I'm not scared, but it's not because I'm prepared for it. If we talk about dying, that man is already dead. It's equivalent for Emiya Shirou to be dead the moment I figured that out. That being the case, I have no reason to worry. We go through the castle gate. Saber looks gloomy, maybe because she knows what kind of fight awaits us. What's troubling her is him and me. No matter who gets killed and who survives, the one to be eliminated is the same. Her desire to stop this ridiculous fight is causing her pain. Her eyes stare at the sky sharply, and maybe she's angry at this meaningless battle. The hall is ruined now. This place covered with the morning mist will become our place of death.
来たか。随分と遅い到着だな、エミやシロ。
A cold voice echoes. The familiar voice comes from the second floor. The man standing at the top of the stairs which are lit by the morning sun. His red outfit is far away and his figure is hazy in the white glare. But I can see him. I can see my enemy in detail. That should be the same for the man with the hawk eyes. The servant with the role of archer given to him. He's an archer, but not an archer. and he's a contradictory existence that has many noble phantasms, yet carelessly destroys them. All his noble phantasms are duplications, and the fact he's able to produce swords in infinite number is his holy phantasm. Holy? I said no, I meant noble. Noble phantasm. I was the only one who did not realize his true identity. Heroic spirits are summoned from every age. If nobody from the past corresponds to him, then the heroic spirit must be from the
よ
future.
うやく気づいた。あのペンダントが2つあるはずがない。あれは。
Oh, the pendant. I didn't even make that connection about the pendant.
そうだ。
Oh
あれは
shit.
命を救われたお前が生涯持ち続けたもの。
Oh goddamn.
この世に2つとない。遠坂凛の父の
They
形。
kept mentioning the pendant and about how there should only be one of them, but I didn't even make that connection. It's impossible that two such pendants should exist. If Emiyashiro held on to that pendant throughout his life, as he says, then
英霊の召喚には必ず触媒が必要となる。お前がセイバーを召喚したように、召喚者と英霊にはつながりがなくてはならない。遠坂凛には英霊を呼び出すための触媒がなかった。故に、彼女は呼び出したサーバントに何の縁もないと思い込んだ。だが、偶然で呼び出される英霊などいない。召喚者と英霊には必ず物質的な縁が必要となる。
if he's right, then there can only be one answer. If Tosaka did not have a catalyst connected to Archer, then
そう。召喚者ではなく、呼び出された英霊そのものが召喚者に縁のあるものを持っていた場合のみだ。
the jewel is the only one of its kind. My life was saved, but I did not know who saved me, so I held on to the pendant which I thought belonged to my savior. That's the answer. If he had Tosaka's pendant, then there's only one person who he could be. Heroic spirit, Emiya. The future me. The heroic spirit before me is Emiya Shirou, who perfected his skills and made his ideal come true. The knight in red, Archer, looks down at me from the top of the stairs. There's no one around him. He's standing alone in this vast hall.
アーチャー、遠坂はどうした？
あの小娘なら城のどこかに置いてきたが、気に病むのなら急げ。お前が来るのが遅いのでな、先に来た的を信じにくれてやったところだ。
だと。
お前との約束は守っている。
Oh shit, I won't harm her, but someone else will.
他の人間が彼女に何をしようが、俺には関わりのないことだ。まあ、結果は見えているがな。的を信じは、遠坂凛に情欲と敵害を抱いている。
Jesus.
あれに凛を預ければどうなるかは考えるまでもない。凛に挑発された小僧は我慢できずに口火を切り、今頃は妙なことになっているかもしれんぞ。
I get pissed off. How can he say such a thing so calmly?
ああ、焦るな、坊主。あのお嬢ちゃんなら俺に任せろ。何？すぐに助け出してやる。
Lancer seems like really keen on her.
ランサ
He did say that he wanted her to owe him, right?
元から俺はあのお嬢ちゃんを死なせないために協力したわけ。
Right, 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 because he's Kyrie's servant. And Kyrie, I mean, he's not a good person, but I guess although he probably has other reason to want to protect Rin. I don't know if he has some sort of affection towards her or like some guilt about the fact that like he killed her father and now he has to look after her. I feel like she's important for other reasons.
これは思いのほか居心地よくてな。昨日のは悪くなかった。自分の仕事を気に入れるっていうのは俺にとっては珍しい。
With those words, Lancer ignores Archer and heads to the west terrace.
ランサー、
気にするな。これはあくまで俺の趣味だ。
Okay, but he does. He's like, he does want to protect her.
まあ、今までいけすかねえ命令ばっかりだったからな。この命令は最後まで守り抜く。そっちはそっちで自分の面倒だけ見てやがれ。
ああ、遠坂を頼む。
He lightheartedly replies with a yes. Then, Lancer stops and turns around as if he remembered something.
おい、何してんだセイバー。お前も来るんだよ。
Yeah, it's like Lancer alone is not going to be able to take down Gilgamesh. Saber lowers her eyes painfully.
いいえ、私はここに残ります、ランサー。
Oh, she did say she was going to watch it through to the end, right? She wasn't going to interfere, but she was going to watch. She stands next to me and replies in like a servant.
本気か？今のマスターはお嬢ちゃんだろ？サーバントが守るべきはマスターだけのはずだが。
分かっています。ですが、それでも私はここに残りたい。私はこの戦いを見守らなければ。
そうかよ。なら好きにしな。
Lancer leaves. He easily jumps up to the terrace and disappears into the passageway. Archer does not do anything. It's as if he is saying Tosaka is useless now. I step over the rubble and walk forward. I'm heading to the center of the room, at the foot of the stairs. Forcing down her emotions, Saber stands still to watch over our battle.
手出しはしないか。それはありがたい。ここまで来てセイバーに邪魔をされるようでは、リンと契約を切った意味がないからな。
I can hear Saber's hesitation. Saber takes a quick breath and replies to the man at the top of the stairs.
ええ、私は手出しをしません。何があろうと、あなたとシロの戦いの邪魔はしない。
それは結構。ならば安心して、小僧を始末できるというものだ。
はい。ですが、その代わりに一つだけ答えてほしい。アーチャー。なぜあなたはシロを殺そうというのです？
I don't suppose killing Shirou would cause any sort of time paradox, right? Because they said the whole thing about how, like, heroic spirits can be summoned at any point in time.
なぜも何もないだろう。そいつが俺を認められないように、俺もそいつを認められないだけだ。
Maybe in his mind, like, if he kills his past self, then he will be released from the torture of having to constantly be summoned at the worst parts in time and having to kill people.
そんなはずはない。あなたはシローだ。エミやシローという人物の理想、英雄となった姿があなたではないのですか？ならどうしてこんな自分を殺すような真似をするのです？
なぜそう思う？未熟だった頃のエミヤシロウと、エミヤと呼ばれる英雄となった俺は別の存在だ。そうでなければ同時に存在などできないが。
それはあなたがサーバントになったからでしょ。時間軸にとらわれない守護者になったのなら、自身が生きた時代に呼ばれることもあると聞きます。あなたはシローだ。シローがずっと思い描いて、その努力が叶った姿があなたのはずだ。
Maybe deep down this is what Kiritsugu was concerned about like becoming a superhero. Like, it seems like an ideal thing, but then this happens and then you end up becoming the type of person that you'd hate to be. It's like you just become dulled and just numb to it after having to kill people, so you just throw your ideals away. It's like he just rebelled against everything that Shirou tried to be. She finishes in a broken voice. Why are you so different? Not responding, he starts down the stairs. He cannot answer that question. If he were able to, we would not be fighting here. Saber steps forward to confront Archer.
いいんだ、セイバー。いいから下がっていてくれ。
I stop her with my hand and keep her at the entrance.
ですが、シロ。
気持ちは嬉しい。けど、話しても無駄だ。あいつは初めから俺を殺すことだけが目的だったんだから。
Saber bites her lip in frustration. Saber stares at me, then at Archer.
なぜなのです、アーチャー。私にはわからない。守護者とは死後、英霊となって人間を守るものと聞いた。その英霊がなぜ自分自身を殺そうなどと考えるのか。
守護者だ。
Maybe something she said got through to him. He stops and looks down at Saber without emotion.
違うよ、セイバー。守護者は人間を守るものではない。あれはただの掃除屋だ。 俺が望んでいた英雄などでは断じてない。
His voice sounds different. Hatred and scorn fill it now.
アーチャー。
俺は確かに英雄になった。エミヤシロウという男が望んでいたように正義の味方になったんだ。
A superhero, someone who will not harm anyone, someone who will not retreat no matter what disaster he may face, someone who can save everyone, someone Emi Ashiro wanted to become. And that man became such a person?
アーチャー。
ああ、確かにいくらかの人間を救ってきたさ。自分にできる範囲で多くの理想を叶えてきたし、英雄と遠い昔から憧れていた地位にさえついにはたどり着いたこともある。
英雄にたどり着いた。ならシロは報われたのですね。少なくともここにいるあなたはエミやシロの理想を叶えられたのでしょ。ならあなたには悔いなどないはずだ。シロはちゃんとその理想を叶えたのだから。
There's no conviction in her voice. She already knows. She knows that she is only voicing her own wish.
理想を叶えたか。確かに俺は理想通りの正義の味方とやらになったさ。だがその果てに得たものは後悔だけだった。殺して殺して殺し尽くした。己の理想を貫くために多くの人間を殺して、無関係な人間の命などどうでもよくなるくらい殺して、殺した人間の数千倍の人々を救ったよ。
Saber stares at Archer, speechless. She looks like someone who saw her own mirror image.
そう。そんなことを何度繰り返したかわからないんだ。
What if we learned from this? From all the games that I've played that have to deal with, like, you know, repeating cycles, is it eventually drives people insane. You cannot stay mentally well when you deal with this.
俺は求められれば何度でも戦ったし、争いがあると知れば死をとして戦った。何度も何度も、思い出せないほど何度もだ。だって仕方がないだろう。何を救おうと救われない人間というものは出てきてしまう。何度戦いを終わらせようと新しい戦いは生み出される。そんなものがある限り正義の味方っていうのはあり続けるしかないんだから。
Who did he direct that to? The knight slowly descends the stairs and recounts his past.
だから殺したよ。一人を救うために何十という人間の願いを踏みにじってきた。何十という人間の救いを殺して、目に見えるものだけの救いを生かして、今度こそ終わりだと、今度こそ誰も悲しまないだろうと、つまらない意地を張り続けた。だが終わることなどなかった。生きている限り争いはどこに行っても目についた。キリがなかった。何も争いのない世界なんてものを夢見ていたわけじゃない。ただ俺はせめて自分が知り得る限りの世界では、
That is definitely my own wish.
一人を救えばそこから視野は広がってしまうんだ。一人の次は10人、10人の次は100人、100人の次は、さて何人だったか。そこでようやく悟ったよ。エミヤシロウという男が抱いていたものは、
それはなぜ？
分かりきったことを聞くな、セイバー。君ならば何度も経験したことだろう。すべての人間を救うことはできない。国を救うためにほんの少しの人間を見殺しにするなんていうのは日常茶飯事だっただろう。
The quiet voice is rendered powerless to object. The words of the Red Knight are Saber's darkness as well.
そう。席は限られている。幸福という椅子は常に全体の数より少なめでしか用意されない。その場にいる全員を救うことなどできないから、結局誰かが犠牲になる。それを被害を最小限に抑えるために、いずれこぼれる人間を速やかに1秒でも早くこの手で切り落とした。それが英雄と、その男が理想と信じる正義の味方の取るべき行動だ。
A wish for nobody to become sad, the desire to save as many people as possible. When the two coexist and contradict each other, there's only one solution. The only people a superhero can save are the people he sides with. If one is to lose everything by trying to save everything, it's correct to sacrifice one to save more.
多くの人間を救うというのが正義の味方だろ。だから殺した。誰も死なさないようにと願ったまま、大勢のために
But it's
一
like,
人には死んでもらった。
this just explains even more why Tosako is so angry whenever Emiya would talk about this, because she knew who Archer was. So she knew what Emiya's future was going to be like, and that's why she told him, like, you can't do that to yourself.
誰も悲しまないようにと口にして、その陰で何人かの人間には絶望を抱かせた。そのうちそれにも慣れてきてね。理想を守るために理想に反し続けた。自分が助けようとした人間しか救わず、敵対した者は速やかに皆殺しにした。犠牲になる誰かを容認することで、かつての理想を守り続けた。それがこの俺、英雄エミヤの正体だ。そら、そんな男は今のうちに死んだ方が世のためと思わないか？
That's right. The only ones a superhero can save are people he sides with. But who was it that defied those words?
それは嘘です。たとえそうなったとしても、あなたならばその誰かを自分にして理想を追い続けたのではないですか？
The knight stops for a second. A frown crosses his face.
あなたは理想に反したのではない。守ったはずの理想に裏切られ、道を見失っただけではないのですか？そうでなければ、こんな自分を殺すことで罪を償おうなどとは思わない。
His ironic smile disappears after coldly staring at Saber. He starts laughing like a madman, as if it's the funniest thing he's heard.
いや、これは傑作だ。俺が自分の罪を償う。バカなことを言うなよ、セイバー。償うべき罪などないし、他の誰にもそんな無責任なものを押し付けた覚えはない。
The knight calmly goes mad. He spoke in a small voice, but his laughter echoes through the hall.
ああ、そうだったよ、セイバー。確かに俺は何度も裏切られ、欺かれた。救ったはずの男に罪をかぶせられたこともある。死ぬ思いで争いを収めてみれば、争いの張本人だと押し付けられて、最後には公主代だ。そら、俺に罪があるというのなら、その時点で償っているだろ
う。嘘だ、アーチャー。あなたの最後は。
まあ、そういうことだ。だが、そんなことはどうでもよかった。初めから干渉してほしかったわけじゃない。英雄などともてはやされる気もなかった。俺はただ、誰もが幸福だという結果だけが欲しかった。
Maybe I'm dumb, but like Saber was alluding to something there where she said that can't be. It's like the specific event where he said like he tried to save people, but then was executed because they thought he was the cause of it. What is that?
だが、 それが叶えられたこと
It'd
は
be something in the future, right?
生前もその死後も
It wouldn't be the fire itself. The fire was caused by the events of from Fate Zero. He stopped laughing. There's only hatred in his voice now.
守護者とは霊長の存命のみを優先する無色の力だ。力は高きところにあり、
Then again, they did say that he could
人の
appear
世
at
が
any
滅
point
亡
in
する可
time.
能性が生じれば世に下る。それがただの奴隷であることは知っていた。死後、己が存在を守護者に預けた者は輪廻の枠から外れ、無と同意になるのだと。それでも誰かを救えるのならそれでいい。かつてのエミやシローはその誓いを守れなかった。なら守護者となって人間の滅亡とやらを食い止める一端になるのならそれでいいと思ったのだ。だが実際は違う。守護者は人など救わない。守護者がすることはただの掃除だ。すでに起きてしまったこと、作られてしまった人間の業をその力で無にするだけの存在だった。それは人を救うのではなく、世界に害を与えるであろう人々を善悪の区別なくなくすだけ。絶望に嘆く人々を救うのではなく、絶望と無関係に生を謳歌する部外者を救うために絶望する人々を排除するだけの殺戮者。馬鹿げた話だ。それが今までの俺と何が違う。
There's no difference. There was just more despair. He relied on a greater power since his powers alone were not enough. But it ended up being the same. He thought the power would make his wish come true, but it only made him do the same thing on a greater scale.
アーチャー、あなたはずっとそんなことを。
それも慣れたよ。人間は繰り返す。どんな時代でも強者が弱者を奪い尽くすのだ。そしてそれが最も効率のいい繁栄だと思い知らされた。ああ、何度も見てきた。意味のない殺戮も、意味のない平等も、意味のない幸福も、俺自身が拒んでも見せられた。守護者となった俺にはもはや自分の意志などない。ただ人間の意志によって呼び出され、人間が作ってしまった罪の後始末をさせられるだけだったからな。
That is where he ended up, a being that repairs the damage caused by human desire. Guardians do not save people. Rather, they eliminate those who cannot be saved as if they never existed. Over and over, for many times he saw people nearly destroy themselves through their own actions, and he burned them down like trash each time. Save as many people as possible. The man became a hero with that one wish, but in the end he could not make it come true even once.
そうだ。それは違う。俺が望んだものはそんなことではなかった。俺はそんなもののために守護者になどなったのではない。
His anger is probably directed at himself. What is standing there is a worn-out corpse. The hero Emi is doomed to always see the ugliness of those he wanted to save. He grew to hate them in the end. He grew to hate humans for repeating conflicts. He grew to hate himself for thinking that humans are sacred.
俺は人間の後始末など真っ平だ。だが守護者となった以上、この輪から抜け出す術はない。そう。ただ一つの例外を除いて。
So he's got to kill Emiya to get himself out of the cycle. Murderous intent flares in his cold eyes. He isn't looking at Saber. There's only one objective for Archer, to kill his own self. But even if he dies, the real body of Emiya, who is in the place outside of the cycle and not bound by time, will not disappear. There's no elimination for Guardians. They're nothing to start with. It's meaningless to kill something that is not part of the real world. But there is one way for him to disappear. If someone who is to become a hero is killed before he becomes a hero, that hero will never come into existence. Therefore,
シロをここで殺すというのですか。他でもない。あなた自身の手によって。
そうだ。その機会だけを待ち続けた。果てしなくゼロに近い確率だ。だが、それにかけた。そう思わなければ自身を許容できなかった。ただその時だけを希望にして、俺は守護者などというものを続けてきた。
それは無駄です、アーチャー。あなたはすでに守護者として存在しているのでしょう。ならもう遅い。今になって英雄となる前のエミやシロを消滅させたところで、あなた自身は消えはしない。
そうかもしれん。だが、可能性のない話ではあるまい。
and here he is once again, killing a person in order, well, in this case, to save himself from having to kill
過去の改ざんだけでは通じないだろうが、それが自身の手によるものならば、矛盾は大きくなる。歪みが大きければ、あるいは、ここでエミヤという英雄は消滅する。それにな、セイバー。俺はこの時だけを待って守護者を続けてきたのだ。これはただの八つ当たりだ。くだらぬ理想の果てに道化となり果てるエミやシロという小僧へのな。
And the knight in red comes down to the hall. Only Archer and I stand in the hall filled with rubble. There's nothing separating us. The reason is simple. He wants to kill me, and I just want to beat him up because I don't like him. I walk to the center of the hall. I won't be able to back out once I take a few more steps. But before that...
Archer, お前、後悔してるのか?
There's one thing I have to ask him.
無論だ。俺。いや、お前は正義の味方になどなるべきではなかった。
He spits those words out, and that dispels my last doubts.
そうか。それじゃあ、やっぱり俺たちは別人だ。
何？
俺は後悔なんてしないぞ。どんなことになったって後悔だけはしない。だから絶対にお前のことも認めない。お前が俺の理想だって言うなら、そんな間違った理想は俺自身の手で叩き出す。
That's how I've been living up till now. I've always believed I'm right. As he says, I'm sure it's full of false courage and distortion. I've lost more than I've gained. But that's all the more reason why. I cannot withdraw for the sake of the things that I've lost. I walk forward. My circuit has already started sketching the blueprint in my mind.
その考えがそもそもの元凶なのだ。お前もいずれ俺に追いつく時が来る。
来ない。そんなもん絶対に来るもんか。
はあ。それはつまり、その前にここで俺に殺されるということか。
I take a step towards my enemy. We're close enough to strike at each other. We don't have any weapons. We confront each other empty-handed. Emiya Shirou is not a swordsman. We're beings that create swords. Then...
分かっているようだな。俺と戦うということは、牽制を競い合うということだと。
The twin swords appear in his hands. That night, the simple twin swords I admired in the Ryodo Temple. Rare swords that a legendary craftsman made at the price of his wife.
トレス。
I activate the completed blueprint and reproduce the twin swords using my image. What a bad job. The twin swords I once thought were perfect are too unprecise compared to his. An inferior illusion will become a delusion. Probably. My swords will shatter and disappear when they crash against his. Take another step. Crunch. The rubble crunches under my foot. Didn't he say like he only had enough power maybe that was before he recovered, but like he had enough to project like one more time. That serves as the signal.
俺の牽制についてこれるか。わずかでも精度を落とせば。
The opposing swords sweep through the air. They're drawn together like magnets and clash into each other. The search ends rather quickly. Lancer is thought to be specialized in battle, but he's actually skilled in magic. Gay Bulk is not the only thing he obtained in the Country of Shadows. He's the hero who obtained all 18 of the Runes of Origin. But since he prefers to battle using his lance, the magic rarely gets used. And now is one of the rare times.
Yes.
The thing that flies above the floor suddenly drops. The Burkana rune finishes its search and turns back into a stone.
誰だお前
An unfamiliar boy stands up in confusion. Lancer realizes that he knows the voice and recalls who it is.
ライダーのマスターじゃねえか。なんだ、とっくの昔にくたばったもんと。
He stops halfway. He sees Tosaka Rin behind the boy. She's tied to a chair. That's fine. That's to be expected since she's captured. But there's a bit more to the girl. First of all, the chair is on the ground. She's tied to the chair, so Tosaka Rin is also on the ground. Her long black hair is covered in sand, and something red can be seen on her mouth. She must have cut her lip. There's also a slight bruise by her mouth. Ooh.
ランサーかなんだよ誰に断ってここに来たんだ話が違うぞお前は
I don't think that was done by Archer. I'm guessing that he probably like grabbed at her mouth or tried to kiss her or something, and maybe like she bit him, or like she did something to him. The fist smashes into Mato Shinji's cheek. Thank you, Lancer. I didn't know what to think about him, but this just propelled him up to a servant that I like. Just love that he's just like, I think he put the pieces together. He said himself that like Shinji is probably going to, or was that Archer who said that? I think, oh no, Archer I think was the one who said that like basically Shinji would have potentially done something to her. A light back fist blows the boy to the wall.
ああ、悪いなガキ。口より先に手が出ちまった。
He didn't kill the boy since it was unconscious, but it would not have been unconscious if Tosaka Rin looked paler and her clothes were more disordered. He would have consciously tried to blow the boy's head off if that were the case. Actually, Lancer does not care how a captive is treated, but he will not tolerate having his spoils snatched by someone else. Ooh, I don't like that. It just feels like Lancer is just like more upset that, oh, maybe my opinion of him will drop a little bit. His spoils. Ugh. It just sounds like he wants her for himself, and he's just mad that someone else got to her first. Spoils for him are enemies he has to kill and women he favors. Ugh. Tosaka Rin groans, still tied up to the chair. She must have been unconscious, as her voice is not too much different from when she wakes up.
Yeah, 朝だぜ。起きろぐうたら。
Lancer gives an out-of-place greeting and walks to Tosaka Rin.
なんでここアインツベルンの城よ
承知している。ああ、いいから動くな。今その手枷を切ってやる。その後は好きにしろ。広間に行ってバカどもの喧嘩を止めるなり、裏口から帰るのも自由だ。
A red lance appears.
それは助かるけどランサー後ろ
Lancer turns around at Rin's warning. The one appearing there is unexpected even for him. He's about to die right now. Like, we know based on the last route that Lancer did not last very long when he was put against Gilgamesh. The corner of the room. The one walking past Mato Shinji is... Oh! Oh, Kyrie! Okay. Well, he's not looking any worse for wear. Kotamine Kyrie, the one assumed to have been killed by Castor. Rin lets out a surprised voice. I knew he wasn't dead. No body, no death. Lancer glares suspiciously at the priest. I mean, Lancer himself said that like his master told him to do all this.
おい、いつから終始買いしやがったんだお前。俺のマスターは表には出てこないのが信条だったんじゃなかったか。
変えるような収支などない。そういうお前こそ命令違反だぞ、ランサー。アーチャーの始末を命じたはずだが、仕損じたか？
あれは放っといても自滅する。その前にやり残した仕事を片付けに来たんだが、お前がここにいるということは、そこのガキはお前の差し金か？
人聞きが悪いな。彼とは協力関係だ。聖杯を手に入れるため、共に認め合った仲だが。
The priest says so without looking at the boy moaning in the rubble.
そう。あんたがそう簡単にくたばるわけないと思ったけど、しぶとく生きてるばかりか。裏でこそこそ手を回してたのね。悪趣味ここに極まるっていうか。人畜無害な神事を懐柔してどうしようっていうのよ、キレ。
なるほど。あれを人畜無害と取るか。この状況においてもお前は遠坂凛らしい。もう少し出来の悪い弟子ならば惜しむこともないのだが。
The priest laughs. He looks and sounds as though he's giving a benediction to dying. A chill runs up the girl's spine. At that moment, she realizes her fate. With a saintly smile, the priest gazed upon the sacrifice, who had been his pupil for the past 10 years.
待てよ、琴峰。
Ooh.
その女はどうするつもりだ？教え子を助けたいと言ったお前の言葉は嘘だったのか？
Ooh, Lancer's about to have a crisis of conscience, perhaps. Like his master is going to be using Rin as, I'm assuming, the vessel for the Holy Grail, so basically killing her. But Lancer's obviously taken a liking to Rin, and he's realizing what he's been told to do. So I wonder if he's going to go against Kyrie right now. I mean, this is the roots where it feels like a lot of the masters or a lot of the servants are rebelling against their masters. Lancer glares at his master while standing in front of the girl.
嘘なものか。彼女はここまで育てた大切な駒だ。10年にわたり欺き続けたのだから、そう簡単にリタイアされてはつまらん。故に、お前に彼女の警護を任せたのだ。わずか2日ばかりの延命だったが、親心としては十分すぎるのではないかな。
The priest walks past Lancer and looks down at the girl on the ground. The girl glares at her former instructor.
SS 神父。あんたならやりかねないと思ったけど、本当にマスターだったなんてね。監督役のくせにゲームに参加するなんて、反則もいいところじゃない。
その割には落ち着いているな、リン。やはり気づいてはいたのか。
当然でしょ。自分のサーバントを見せなかったのもあんたを疑ってたからだもの。けどね、まさか初めっから騙されてるとは思わなかったわ。
初めから。
Then, the priest frowns as if the words are unexpected.
何よ。文句あるっていうの？キレ。
いや、初めからというが、それはどのあたりを指しているのかと思ってな。
Maybe from the start, like from when she was a kid, she suspected something. The priest grins. He looks down at the girl with utmost pleasure.
待った。キレ、あんた。
それは今回の聖杯戦争が始まってからか。それとも、お前が言う初めからとは。
With that, the girl understands everything. Her face turns pale, and she looks up at the man she studied under for 10 years in disbelief.
そう。殺し
Ah.
たのはあんただったんだ。
Yeah, she didn't, we didn't touch on this in the last read, so she's getting at least some, closure on that about what happened to her dad.
当然だろう。恩師であったからな。騙し討ちはたやすかった。
A grinding sound. The girl hangs her head and grits her teeth.
なあ、行き場に迷えクソ神父。断言してやるけど、あんたに居場所なんてないんだからね。地獄だってあんたみたいなのは願い下げで、煉獄だって他の連中がずぶとくなるってんでたらい回しよ。あんたみたいな生き損ないはね、性に合わない天国あたりで針のむしろにくるまってろっての。
The girl keeps on cursing him. Of course, the priest does not care about such things. But the boy is overawed by her change. Mato Shinji never thought Tosaka Rin would show this much emotion.
琴峰、遠坂は僕がもらったんだって知ってるだろう。あいつに用があるのは僕だけだ。
Ugh,
あんた
gross.
はただ教会でこっちの守備を待ってればいいんだよ。
Is this like part of the reason he agreed to this? He's like, I want Tosaka for myself. Like, I'll agree to help you out, but I want her.
いや、用ならばある。彼女にはここで聖杯になってもらわねばならないからな。
Mato Shinji does not understand what the priest is saying. The only ones who understand are the priest and the sacrifice, Tosaka Rin. Where's Gilgamesh in all this?
アーチャーとセーバーが消えればいい加減頃合いだ。いらぬ抵抗され、鮮度を落とされても困る。ことは迅速に済ませてしまおう。
The priest walks away from the girl with those words. The only one in front of Tosaka Rin is Lancer.
琴峰、貴様。
そのゴミを始末しろ、ランサー。器に心臓はいらん。
Oh, I wonder if he's gonna use, if he has a command spell left, if he's gonna use it on Lancer if he refuses. Only Mato Shinji reacts to those words. Tosaka Rin glares at the priest, but bites her lip without speaking. The priest's smile already told her she was going to be killed here. She understands that she will not be saved, and she won't be hurt even if she begs for her life. That's why she doesn't complain. That's the only way she can resist, and that is her will of opposition. She won't give up until the very last second. Help might arrive even at this moment, and she might be the only one that survives after this room miraculously crumbles.
ありえない話だけど。
She won't give up, but she also understands that it's impossible. That's why she has no fear, except for one thing. She imagines the boy's expression when he finds her dead after coming to save her. She doesn't want him to cry. It angers her that she's the cause of his tears, and she doesn't know how she can apologize to him. Oh, Saber, if only you would come with Lancer. No, she can't apologize if she dies, but she still doesn't want him to cry.
ごめん、エミヤ君。私、先にリタイアする。
So she decides to apologize ahead of time. Well, hopefully, with the master and servant, right? Like, if they have Saber and Rin have an official contract, then she should be able to sense if her master's in danger, and maybe she'll be like, I gotta go help Rin. It does no good, but it calms her down.
どうしたランサー。相手は少女だ。貫くのはたやすかろう。
The priest shows no mercy to that.
お断りだ。今回のは従えねえ。俺にやらせたかったら、その霊樹でも使うんだな。
I appreciate that Lancer is refusing. I don't like that he called her basically his spoils, like for women that he fancies or however it is, but I respect the, you know, the chivalry a little bit. Lancer replies while looking at the priest as if he's an enemy.
何？
The priest narrows his eyes. The master and slave, the air inside the room freezes as they stare at each other.
そうか。仕方あるまい。自分でできることに霊樹を消費するわけにはいかんのだが。
He raises his left arm. The priest activates the command spell on his arm.
では命じよ
Oh!
う。自害しろランサー。
Gee, okay. Damn. Oh, Lancer. Ugh. That's what happened, I believe, in Fate Zero, was there was a command spell for Lancer to kill himself, right? And that he saw that as, like, the ultimate insult. He vomits up blood, but that's nothing compared to the blood spilling from his chest.
琴峰、貴様。
His voice is a whisper now. The spearman, Lancer's chest and heart are pierced by his own lance.
さらばだ。お前の役目はとうに終わっている。
A man in blue armor falls to the floor. Shinji's like, oh boy, I have gotten in over my head here. Redness permeates the floor. There's no sign of him getting back up. The spearman in blue has been defeated by his own lance at the command of his own master. The priest moves. He walks over to the girl and crouches down. Her heart He stoops so that he can easily pull out Tosaka's Rin's heart.
琴峰、約束が違うじゃないか。遠坂は僕にくれるって言っただろう。
The priest gives the boy a wordless glance.
ダメだ。遠坂はダメだ。そいつには借りがいっぱいあるんだから。生きていてくれなくちゃ困る。
Maybe he's gonna kill Shinji. Like, you have also served your purpose. Like, if Gilgamesh is technically under Akira's control. Mato Shinji protests, his teeth chattering at the sight of Lancer's corpse. I mean, what's to stop Kiri? Like, why did Shinji have to... I assume there's a reason why Kiri had, like, Shinji have Gilgamesh as his servant. Although, like, we saw from the last one that Kiri easily was able to have 2 servants. So it's not a matter of, like, he's not allowed to have Gilgamesh as a servant. So this is kind of a workaround. But he stops. The boy slowly retreats, unable to take the priest's stare. The priest looks from the boy back to the girl.
最後に何か言い残すことはあるか。遺言ぐらいは聞こう。
His words are simple.
こういう時の私が何を考えているか、あんたなら知ってるはずでしょ。
Tosaka Rin answers in her normal manner.
そうだな。最後まで諦めないのがお前だ、リン。同時に覆らない現実を瞬時に認めるのもお前の素晴らしさだ。いいぞ。その矛盾はなかなかに芳醇だ。
He shows no hesitation. The priest grabs the girl's breast, right on top of her heart. The girl closes her eyes at the sensation. Oh! A pierce. The heart is pierced and blood gushes out. Did I do something wrong? I feel like I made all the choices because I know that you can get a bad end towards the end. I was like, uh-oh. Did I not get enough run points? Even after being abandoned, the room is still used as a disposal for corpses. I was waiting for it to say, like, bad end or dead end right there. I'm like, what did I do? The one to gasp is Tosaka Rin. Blood drips onto the floor. That wasn't her, was it? Did someone stab Kyrie? The dripping sound is made by something above her. From the chest of the priest, who is looking down at the girl. Oh, yeah. Blood pours from his mouth. The wound on his chest is fatal. The weapon protruding from his back is the cursed lance! Lancer! That always strikes its target. The priest shows no emotion. With his lips covered in blood, he turns to Lancer. Lancer, you're a bro, thank you.
Lancer, 貴様。
あいにくだったな、琴峰。
Yeah.
この程度でくたばれるんならよ。俺は英雄になんぞなってね。
Anyone can tell the ironic voice is bluffing. Lancer has no vitality. He's no heart, and his body's about to disappear. The demonic lance is pulled out. The priest, having nothing to show for his departure, falls and dies. Well, okay. Nice. No matter how great his mastery of magic, or how powerful his divine protection, he is still a mere human. There's no way for him to be alive after being stabbed in his heart by the demonic lance.
たく、結局こうなったか、たわけ。
The knight leans against the wall and tries to hold up his disappearing body, but it's only temporary. Lancer will disappear once he falls to the ground. He lost his heart, and his master. He's still able to maintain his body because of his dirty survival tricks. Oh, great.
いいじゃん、いいじゃん。バカどもは勝手に殺し合ってたよ。
Now, great, now Mato is alone with Tosaka. She's still tied up. Nobody to help her for now. He just ran away like a bitch and then came back when they all took out each other. The girl who was, you know, this is a dude who, like, if he was online gaming, he'd just be camping somewhere, wait for everybody else to take each other out, and then he just comes in at the last second and just takes out whoever's left. The girl who was staring at the dead priest is brought back to reality by the laughing voice.
何が聖杯は君のものだ。だよ。役立たずは最後まで役立たずだったな、神父さん。
Mato Shinji kicks the priest's corpse. The dead man does not move. That must have pleased him, as the boy kicks the priest's head with all his might. A heavy smacking sound echoes in the room. Sensation and sound excite Mato Shinji more than he expected.
けど文句は言わないでおくよ。さっきのことは根に持ってないし、死んじゃったやつにあれこれ言うのはみっともないしさ。
He laughs. The boy, whose sanity is almost gone, walks toward Tosaka Rin with staggering steps.
待たせたね、遠坂。いろいろ邪魔が入ったけど、これでようやく二人きりだ。
Jesus, I hate
残る
this.
サーバントもあと3人。ここで君が泣き疲れた頃には、全部肩がついてるさ。
He literally goes on all fours to get on top of Tosaka Rin like a lizard. A lizard is an appropriate thing to call him.
お前にはいろいろ用があったんだ。ほんと困るよ、遠坂。簡単に死なれちゃあさ。ここまで我慢してきた僕に申し訳がないってもんだろ。さあ、こびてみろよ、遠坂。お前の態度次第で助けてやらないこともないぜ。それに聖杯はもう僕のものだ。ここで僕のものになるって言うなら、お前にだって分けてやっても。
呆れた。本当にバカじゃないのあんた。
Although she's still stone cold, she doesn't sound scared or anything. Then, even while she's tied up and being licked on her cheek by the boy, Tosaka Rin speaks up.
なんだって？
まだ懲りないのかって言ってるのよ、シンジ。あんたは綺麗にいいように使われてただけでしょ。いい？あのサーバントは扱いきれるものじゃない。そんなこと近くにいるんだからあんただって分かってるでしょ。ならいい加減目を覚まして、こんな殺し合いから手を引けっていうの。今ならまだ間に合うのはそっちの方よ。死にたくなかったら1秒でも早くここから逃げ出しなさい。
何を言い出すかと思えば、結局は命乞いじゃんか。バカはお前だよ、遠坂。目障りな琴峰は死んだんだぜ。今さら何が僕の邪魔をするって言うんだ。
Mato Shinji runs his fingers along the girl's body. At that instant, Mato Shinji's punched away once again. Good, this guy doesn't get punched enough, please. He's flung to the wall.
ガキが、そいつはてめえなんかが触れていい女じゃねえ。
Lancer, oh my gosh, this dude is such a bro. I love it. Even if Lancer's only doing it because he has a crush on Rin, I'm like, whatever. Lancer glances at the boy and walks lazily to the girl.
何？死に損ないの分際で僕に意見しようっていうの？
Hopefully Lancer can at least use the last of his strength to untie her so she can get away. The spearman stops. He now turns to Mato Shinji.
おとなしく寝ていれば苦しまずに死ねたってのにな。さっきといい今度といい、お前楽には殺さないからな。ほら出番だぜ、ギルガメッシュ。こいつカッコつけて死にたいんだってさ。
Yeah, right? Gilgamesh is like, where has he been? Has he just been hiding the whole time, just watching this? I like the idea he's just like, nah, I'm good. He raises his voice. Mato Shinji's servant, the one who can kill any heroic spirit, is summoned by his master and doesn't appear, I'm guessing.
おい、なんだよ。何やってんだよ、あいつ。聞こえないのか？早く来いって言ってるだろ。
His voice sheepishly echoes through the room. The golden servant does not appear. The spearman covered in blood takes another step towards the annoying boy.
くそくそくそくそくそ。なんだよお前。死に損ないのくせに何かっこつけてんだよ。消えろよ。目障りだってわかんないのかよ、この化け物。
Yes, the lance is thrust. Fuck yes. The quick thrust pierces Mato Shinji through his right shoulder. God damn it, just kill him. Or I like the idea of like just keeping him alive long enough to know that he ain't shit. His scream tears through the room. Lancer pulls out the lance with an almost bored expression and points it at Mato Shinji's temple.
うせろ。死に損ないでもな。お前程度なら1000人殺したところで支障はない。
Retreating to the wall and shivering, Mato Shinji runs away. That's right. Oh, now we're just gonna have a sweet goodbye. He's probably gonna say something like kind of sarcastic to Rin, and she'll thank him, and he'll disappear before he frees her. Whenever there's this music, I'm like, something emotional is gonna happen. Here we go. Letting out a big sigh, he walks over to the girl. Lance cuts away the girl's bonds like paper. She thanks him as soon as she's freed. Unmindful of the dirt that covers her, she bows to Lancer. At that instant, he falls. She tries to catch him, but does not make it. Lancer, who is leaning against a wall, crumples onto the ground. His legs won't move. Lancer's limbs are already dead. The fact he still got up, killed his master, and freed her is unbelievable. Gushing blood stains his blue armor. His blue armor red. Rin runs to the bloody spearman, but Lancer stops her by raising his hand. Maybe he'll just be like, I'm glad that I could, rather than just kill, I could save somebody. His casual talk is like always. The blue spearman does not change his tone, even on the verge of his death. The girl stands there, speechless. Looking up at her, Lancer sighs, as if the weight is lifted off his shoulders. He laughs in self-derision. Then, the spearman in blue urges the girl. Lancer's holding the Onzus rune. A rune containing his remaining magical energy will burn this room to ashes. Understanding his determination, the girl turns her back to Lancer. She runs to the entrance hall. He sounds happy. I know it's a little, silly of me, but I was hoping she would give him a hug or something. I don't know, The room erupts in flames. The blaze burns Lancer's body and his master's corpse, without leaving a trace. The red lance and the blue armor disappear in the flames like empty illusions. Alright guys, well man, I thought that the last episode was hype, but this one was crazy. So I know I said at the beginning that oh, it's been pretty much confirmed, that Shirou and Archer are basically, they're two sides of the same coin, same person. Shirou being, or I should say, sorry, Archer being Shirou's future self who is turned into a heroic spirit, but it was laid out in black and white, a whole discussion about how that happened, and okay, so we do see that Archer is basically the idealized version of Shirou, Shirou wanting to become a hero and being tortured basically his whole life for it, in a cycle of having to kill people to try and save people, and just growing more and more bitter and hating humans. But even with Archer telling Shirou this is what your future is going to become, Shirou, being the person he is, still stubbornly refuses to give up on people and wanting to save people. So the fight is happening. There's no trying to convince Archer. Saber tried her best, and then we had the badass thing with Rin, with her just getting attacked or like wanting to be the possession of like so many men. Like you've got like Archer wanting to hold on to her as collateral, and then you've got like Shinji just being a fucking weirdo and horrible, and I hate him so much about like wanting to own her. And that was the whole reason that he agreed to work with Kyrie, who, surprise, was alive. Shocker, not really. And then Kyrie wanted to have her to be the vessel, and Lancer wanting to protect her because he admired her and I think had a little bit of a crush on her. And Lancer, like, what a badass. Like, man, I'm glad he got some screen time finally and he got to just be a hero and save her. So unfortunately, Lancer's dead, Kyrie's dead. Gilgamesh just off doing whatever. He's just doing whatever. Shinji running off like a little bitch. I don't know where he is. He probably ran off to find Gilgamesh. And Rin is she's alive, and seems like she's gonna go and try and find Shirou. So I really don't know how much more of this is left because we've got the final fight. This was a little bit of a shorter episode. I promise next time will be a longer one to make up for it, but so hype. And like with Saber agreeing to not intervene in the fight, whether Rin will follow the same rules, I'm not sure. We'll see. But yeah, I'm really excited to see how this is going to continue, how much is left of this. Gilgamesh and Shinji are going to come back at some point. So we also have them to worry about. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. Stay tuned next week for episode 15. Until then, bye guys. Special shoutouts to my top tier patrons: Emily Hornsby, Salieri, Zorn Ether, Amdere, Revealing Storm, Icognito, Asborn Kennedy, Harry Gazif, Jared Fan, and Saturn Sins.